Hello, everyone. Oh, let me fix this really quick. There we go. Hey, welcome to another blessings video. So today we are going to study another name of God. So I just kind of want to share that with you, and then just kind of I'm really excited. I've got a new camera set up. Really excited about that. So let me just give you the welcome. Don't forget to spiel. So welcome to blessings.com. So my YouTube channel is called Marsha Baker. So here what we do at Blessings is this is the place to grow your visual faith, and we want to develop our visual literacy. We want to learn to doodle and sketch. So we're not talking about doing any art skills, but we're learning to make simple little icons so we can visually represent the things that we are thinking about and learning about. And so we specifically use sermon sketch notes, doodle devotionals, prayer patterns, and life journaling. Those are things that we learn. So if you want access to my members only page, where you can get printables and other things that we use in our challenges, you can sign up for my newsletter at www.blessings.com. And in the confirmation email, there'll be a link to the members only page. And then once you do that, you can go to Facebook and sign up for Sketchnote Boss, and that's where I post my weekly challenges as well as on the blog. And then if you wanted to watch the videos as well, they're embedded in my blog, but they'll also be here on my Marsha Baker YouTube channel. So, all right, so just get that out of the way there. And so you'll notice I'm kind of switching back and forth. There I am. Here I am. Yay. So I am so excited. I told you at the beginning of the year, I was really trying to figure out this video business. And so I've got a long way to go, but I am further along than I have been in a really long time. So I've figured out how to sketch back and forth between, let's see, so we can get rid of me. And now here's my sketchbook. So I thought that was really important to be able to go back and forth. So there I am again. So I just wanted to share with you, maybe just, actually, I'm going to go back to this. So we've been studying the names of God this year. I'm trying to do once a month. And so I just kind of wanted to go over what we've done so far. So January, we did Elohim, and we did a page for that. And then our challenge was to create icons for the creation story. So day 1, we did light. Day 2, we made the oceans and the sea. Day 3, we made plants. Day 4, we made the sun and the moon. And day 5, we made the animals and the fish. We made the fish, the birds. And day 6, we made animals. And day 7, we rested. And he also made man, also made Adam. So that was my creation story. And then that was my title page. I ended up doing a different book because I was out of town. So anyway, I glued that here. And then in February, we studied Elkanah and Esh Okla. Hopefully I'm saying that part right. So I just wrote some things that spoke to me. Elkanah is the jealous God. I guess I really kind of skipped back, so Elohim is the God of gods. He's the creator, mighty one. So he made everything. So that's what Elohim means. So Elkanah means the jealous God. And, I think at first I really struggled with jealousy because it's just such not a positive thing. But because he loves us so much and he wants to spend time with us. And so he's jealous of other things that take our attention away from him. So, and then Esh Okla is consuming fire. And I just love that DC Talk song, that You Consume Me. That just really speaks Esh Okla to me. You consume me like a burning flame running through my veins. I just know that you are just totally consuming me. So our challenge for February was to doodle little heart cards. And some of you really accepted my challenge. I'm very excited. So I know one of you did like over 300 cards and left them all over town. So I was so excited to hear about that. So I did 100 cards, and I'm still got a few I've got to give away. But I took a lot of the hearts from my cards and just redid them here. And then another one of the challenges was to get you to just really simply illustrate just a verse, and I decided on love. And so I decided to just pick several and kind of do very small versions. So just to let you look at that. And again, you can go back to the blog and see those in more detail. So with this month, I decided to do Jehovah Rophe, or Yahweh. It's a Rophe. And it's mentioned twice in the Bible. In Exodus 15, 25, and 26, it basically says, if you will listen carefully to Yahweh, your Elohim, and do what he considers right, if you pay attention to his commandments and his laws, I will never make you suffer any diseases that I made the Egyptians suffer, because I am Yahweh Rophe. And this Rophe and the Rophe come from the same base word, which means healing. And so because it was just no decision as what name we were going to study this month, because this is actually the coronavirus, so it's got these little nodules coming up on the circle. So I just thought he can heal us from that. And we had an awesome prayer vigil the other night, so you can find that recorded on our Sketchnote Boss Facebook group. So if you want to just go back and pray with us, that would just be a huge thing. So today I am challenging you to have two challenges, because we're toward the end of the month and we've got going to start looking towards Easter. But so I want to challenge you to illustrate his name. So I'm going to show you what I did. So I'm going to do my big reveal here in a second. It's going to show you what I did. And then I did a sketch note. I found a great sermon on Yahweh Rophe, and I sketchnoted it. So I will show you that towards the end. So those are your challenges. So I am not going to take you step by step through this. Just going to kind of show you the general steps, because it's not difficult at all, and I'm sure you'll get it. But just kind of want to let you know what I did. So ready? The big reveal. So this was my version, and then I wrote El Rophe instead of Yahweh or Jehovah Rophe. So, but he is the God who heals. So my vision was, you've got these viruses running through your system, through your your blood system. So it's kind of like going for the flow there. But then I can't leave well enough alone, and I've got to do little spirals. And then I thought I would add, like, the beautiful thing about Yahweh Rophe is it's not just physically healing our body. He is there to just repair anything. So he can mend our hearts, he can mend relationships, he can heal our finances. Since he made everything, he can heal everything, but we have to walk with him. So we have to spend time in the Word to understand what he needs, he wants us to do, and we have to be in agreement of the things that he wants us to do. So he wants to heal us. I mean, Jesus healed so much in the New Testament. That he wants us to have good provision and to thrive, but we have to do our part, and we have to not do self-destructive things, and we have to read our Bible and just hear from him and see what he wants us to do. So and then I'm just very quickly going to show you. Then the last spread I did for this month was I have stories of healing. So I will tell you a very quick story. So pardon me if I'm repeating myself, but so I've got some blood platelets there, and then some nice little, not exactly cancerous things, but pre-cancer. So yeah, my little cancer spots all over the page. So on one hand is stories of healing, and then the other hand is I've got prayers for healing for people that I want to pray for that have health issues or other issues. So my brother-in-law, Bruce, he is a Assembly of God pastor down in south of Springfield, Missouri, and he His career he spent doing heating and air conditioning kinds of things, and I think being exposed to some of those refrigerants and gases, he got the very rare blood disease. At the time, he was number 34 in the country. So it's a very rare blood disease. It's kind of a precursor to leukemia, but not leukemia. So, so basically what happens is your body stops producing platelets. The normal person has about 150,000 platelets, and Bruce's platelets just sort of slid on down to like under 10,000. And if you have under 10,000, it's really a dangerous situation. Just could be very life-threatening. So for 2 years, he would drive up to Springfield. I'm sorry, drive up to St. Louis to Big Barnes here. We have a huge Barnes Jewish Hospital, um, and he would come up quarterly or sometimes monthly. And so they would say, well, you know, this kind of worked for this person to get the plateless jump starters. We'll try that. And so he tried it. And it's like, well, this medicine was really developed for this other thing. But we find that, you know, this one person had good success with it. So we're going to try this experimental drug on you. And so he went through this battery for 2 years, and then having to get platelets twice a week because his body just wasn't producing the platelets. And so nothing worked. So it was like March. And the last thing they gave him was in March. This is back in like 2009, 2010 probably. And so they said, you know, if this doesn't work, then we really need to start looking at bone marrow transplant. So Bruce has several brothers and sisters, so they all got tested, and one of them had a 5-point match, and there's like a 10-point match that you need. And so they actually found a bone marrow donor with a 9-point match. And I guess the one thing that it didn't match on was not that significant. So we were just so thankful that the Lord would just provide that. And Bruce just said, I don't think, you know, if I end up doing this, great, I will do this, but I'm just not really sure I'm going to have to do this. And, you know, we didn't really know what to say to that. And, you know, but so the paperwork is done, and the donor agreed to be a bone marrow donor. And then 2 weeks, and he came up like the last part of August. And 2 weeks before the bone marrow transplant was supposed to take place. And the Friday before, his platelets were at 26,000. They'd never been that high in 2 years. And by the time he got up to St. Louis, his platelets were 50,000. And from then on, his platelets were at about 100,000. So a little bit lower than everybody else's, but his body is producing platelets again. So nothing short of a miracle, and that is a healing. And so what a wonderful story. So if you have any doubts that our God heals, I just wanted to document that story. So that's anyway, so that's my spread. So let's get back to how I do this page. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the supplies that we need. So let's see if that opens. We'll do that later. So obviously I use my journal, but you could just use a page. I need a pencil. I need a marker. And if you have colored markers that you would rather use than paint, that's totally fine. I'm going to use a combination of, I have these, I kind of like, I prefer watercolor little pans so I don't have to mix colors. And I think you can get this on Amazon, and I will leave I think it's like $24 on Amazon. So the only thing I don't like is like this one tends to fall out. So once you start using them a lot, they kind of fall out. So that's kind of the downside of this side. But the other side is it travels great. So, you know, just put your pen in there. And I don't use those water pens. I've got some in order. So I haven't figured those out yet. You need paper towel. I'm going to use some rubber cement, and I'm going to use an index card. And then the other thing that okay, so my whole deal about this whole website is I don't want to spend a ton of money, right? So I just want to use what God's put in my hand. So I'm using stuff I have on hand. So I'd much rather you guys just use your markers than having to go out and buy these. Although I got to say, I love these water-soluble crayons. And the I don't even know what the brand that is. I always call these Conti, but I don't think they are. The Karen. So, but the Neo Color, I love these. There's like putting butter on paper. They're just amazing. So, but they're also just like $43 on Amazon. So, you know, maybe you have a coupon, maybe you've got a coupon at Hobby Lobby, not sure. So, and you can get like 15 or 12. So those are choice, but anyway, so those are just crayons, and I'll just show you how to use those, and could be a choice. But again, this isn't about spending money and having to rush out and go, you know, buy some other piece of art supplies. I would rather you just use what you have in your hands. I think that's more important, to just use what you have in your hands. So this is everything we've got going here. So, all right, I'm going to get rid of all of this. And so there's actually two ways to do this. So the first thing I'm going to do is just with rubber cement, not any other kind of glue, because this is not permanent. I'm just putting it down just to kind of keep a placeholder for my label or name that I'm going to do. So where I did, so I'm just going to, it doesn't really matter where you put it, just kind of put it somewhere. So since this is a smaller book, I cut out a smaller one, and I just lightly rubber cemented that in, so when I drew my lines, I could get the flow, and just kind of drew straight over this, and then when I was done, I peeled it up, and then I had a nice clean surface. And the rubber cement's going to stay, so you're going to have to rub it off, but it comes off really easy. So that's the whole purpose of that. Okay. So I already did one here, so I'm going to put that aside. And there. I started one, so I want to show you a couple different techniques, and then let you go to town, and then you can post yours. So you can, and feel free to start off with pencil. There's nothing wrong with starting off with pencil. So, you know, and your lines can intersect. So let's just say I'm going to just maybe draw a line like that. Okay. Right. You know, and then maybe I want to add in elements like maybe I want to draw a broken heart up here, you know, so the Lord can, you know, so praying for people with broken hearts. Can just, then you can ink that in. So basically we want to get our lines drawn. So let's do another line and just kind of fill this in, right? And then I already did this in the crayon just to show you. Maybe we just want to do this. I just thought I wanted it to dry so I can ink this in a little bit. So I'm going to do some more crayon, and then we're going to ink this in and kind of see where this goes. So, and again, maybe you want to do something around the corner here to create some interest. So anyway, so you have your choice of drawing the lines first, okay? And then I'm just going to show you these crayons because they go pretty fast. All right, what should we pick? I don't know. Let's pick green. I'm just going to use this green, okay? And so I'm just going to leave this till I'm all done, right? So basically, I'm just going to, well, actually, let's ink this line in first. Oops. All right, so I'm just going to ink that line in, right? And then I can just take my crayons. You know, so maybe this one is about asking the Lord to heal our finances, right? So, and technically I use kneaded erasers. It's just a little square eraser. I think I have a part of one. Well, anyway, they're square. They kind of look like that. And I just peel a piece off and use it. Anyway, so maybe I would have kind of erased my pencil marks before I actually. So, okay, so the process I would really recommend is you get either everything inked first or everything crayoned first. And maybe you don't need to draw a line so much with your crayons and just let it go, be a lot more freer. And maybe you just want to do more blobby things instead of flowing line things. But if you do the flowing lines, so I'm just going to take this brush here. I just have a little water here, all right? And then I'm just going to look how nicely that, so just kind of, and so when that dries, I can go back and put a pattern in it. So on this one, you can see I put little dollar signs in it. So, you know, so if the Lord could heal finances, something that you could heal. So you guys kind of getting the idea here? So let's just say we wanted to, you know, just do some kind of free-flowing, something like, you know, nothing wrong with overlapping, especially if you've got some nice colors, and those nice colors would blend, right? So maybe we overlap a little bit. And then we're just going to go back with our pens and just ink it in, right? So, again, I'm just going to, right? So see, the pigment, see, it gets rid of that crayon look and just gets a smooth line. And just let that go. And then, you know, maybe you come down here and do some green here, right? Because we know yellow and green. And then we just let that go, and then we just kind of blend it. And just let it go and let it dry, right? Feel free. So you want your paper. And so in my journal, I'm using a little bit heavier paper. It's like mixed media paper. It's not exactly watercolor paper, but if you're trying to do this on regular paper, you definitely need to use markers, but otherwise your paper is going to buckle. And it's going to look, you're going to not be happy. So, so you want to make sure that you're using a nice weight. So this is, let's just see what this is. This is a Canson mixed media, and it's a 90-pound paper. So maybe you can see it. There we go. Mixed media 90-pound paper. So this is just my my sketch note book for art challenges. So when I do art challenges, I use this book, and then I demo things to you. So, all right. So I really can't do anything with this line right here because it's drawing. But you know, let's just say we really wanted to do something. You know, we could just follow our lines. And actually, I use these tiki pens because they're a little bit thicker line. So, you know, if we just wanted to follow that line, something like that, and then we can start putting little patterns in it. So maybe we could just split this off into two, so it wasn't quite so big. And then you could always have kind of do a, see how I create a little space in that line? And then maybe with my thinner pen, I can come back. And so just keep your patterns really simple, you know. This is one of my most favorite patterns to use, is just that, this lines right here, just like that, just fills in really nicely. And then if you wanted to take it and, you know, do a straight line and then a dash and then a straight line and a dash. So just to vary things, you could do that, or you could just kind of continue on, fill that whole thing in. It's just very nice. And then if you wanted to, maybe put some circles here, And then you can decide if you want to fill in between the circles. Anyway, so once you get your color, so you can either do it this way. You can either put your patterns in and then your color, which is actually what I tended to do here. You see, I drew these little boxes right here and these triangles. So I tended to work everything and do all my black work and then went back and colored it in. But if you wanted to do a little more freestyle, then I would encourage you to put the color in and then just see where your pen takes you. That was a really fun experience to do on some of those heart cards that I did. I just followed the lines to where the paint changed and just figured out how to make hearts out of those. So anyway, so hopefully you got it. Hopefully you got that. Hopefully, I just don't want to make these videos too long. That's just the deal. And so then the next thing that I want to show you is then this sketch note that I did. So I found this great video from Susan Kent, which I will leave the link in the notes. And then it's all on Yahweh Rophe. So she talks about Exodus, and she just makes a great case. And so I'm not going to spoil it, but I just want to encourage you to try and sketchnote it. So you'll see she doesn't have point 1, point 2, point 3, but she starts out with the main scripture, but then she's got several points that were very easy to block off. And then your eye can really organize that well to go, oh, I can kind of see where I'm kind of flowing down this way. So we're working this way, we're kind of working across. So your eye can easily organize this and to really understand what we're hearing. So, all right, so there's your challenges. So I want to see your title page on Rophe, and then I want to see your sketch notes. So post those in Sketchnote box. And if you have any questions at all, be sure and reach out to me at at blessingsatlive.com. So, okay, so, I'm just starting to get used to this. So I'll just write that down here. Let me write it in a big thing so you can see it. So if you ever need all right, that's my email address. So email me there and I'll do my best to respond as quickly as I can. To check my email every day. So back. Oh, there I am. Yay, I'm back. Hey, thanks for watching. Okay, hope this was a great video. I know I'm just learning this whole camera thing, so just bear with me, give me a little grace. But hopefully you can see me demonstrating, I think, is a lot more value than just having me talk or just showing you static pictures of things that are already done. So bear with me and let me know other things that you would like to see. I'd really appreciate it if you leave me a comment of other things that you'd like to see me demonstrate. And I can't wait to see what you create. So when we take time and we create with the gifts that God given us, it's just an amazing time. So I can't wait to hear about what you guys do. So I will see you in the next video.